Okay, folks, this is a video about Marianne Williamson, and this goes to my point about the AOC not supporting her. She's supporting Biden instead, and AOC is right. She's defending like there's no credible candidate. That's what she said in her interview with on that Paul Across America. She said there's no credible candidate. She's supporting Biden, and it goes to my point. She's getting blasted for it, and she's just falling into the. Some say she's fallen into the Democratic Party. She's fallen into a corporate Democrat, become a corporate Democrat. But I see she's right. She's right because there's no credible candidate. I think if it was Bernie was running, she'd probably support Bernie, but some say that maybe she won't. Maybe if she go against Biden, she wouldn't be. That would be a no-no. Like in future elections, for her election, if she wants to run. If she wants to run again, that she may not get the support. Yeah, but I think could be. But I think she would have done I think if somebody like Bernie run again, maybe she would have run. She would support the candidate. But somebody like Marianne Williamson, she's you could tell it's just an act of fake, a grift, and definitely like some of the reparations thing. Even though that wasn't she got into an argument, like I said, with the video by Philip Scott. What's his name? Philip Scott. He's a black content creator, and he's saying, and this voter, not voter, was it a town hall, and he asked this black potential black voter, but she asked him a question about reparations, and she pressed him hard on it, and then she got upset, and then I guess she asked him a question about other people's getting reparations, the Holocaust, and then the other groups, Japanese. The Japanese got reparations. The other groups, Indian tribes, and she said she kind of dismissed them. He said something, I don't know if it's not controversial, but yeah, I guess the whole argument, why are these groups, it's okay for these other groups to get reparation, but not African Americans. And she said he's that's anti-Semitic. He's being anti-Semitic. I don't think he's not being. He's being aggressive, but he's not. He wasn't anti-Semitic. If you've seen the video, it wasn't anti-Semitic. It was on Philip Scott. The video, it could be on African Diaspora Network. That's where the interview with her, but no, that video with her in that town hall. And yeah, she's very dismissive, and so you could tell, but she's making all this. She doesn't go into detail. We're gonna do this and that. The civil rights of the kind of like a New Deal civil rights kind of 10 different points. Bernie had that too when he ran, so it doesn't say anything. I mean, she doesn't go into detail how she's gonna do this. How would Bernie made out? He's saying how he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it with pressure. He's gonna go grassroots from up, from the low class and the middle class. Put pressure on Washington. A big, great movement. That's what he says he's gonna get all these things and fight to stop the corporations. Yeah, I mean, but that was kind of a, not a grift, but kind of a false hope that Bernie did, kind of in a way. Well, pie in the sky, we could do this. Just like Obama, but Obama was maybe even worse than Obama, what Bernie did. But this is straight up though. But this is straight up grift. Marianne Williamson. But at least Bernie's been in Congress and he has fostered some bills that help people. You know what I mean? He hasn't gone far enough, but and these guys are good. These guys are do dissidents. They mentioned the Democratic Party. I think these guys are leftists or centrists. They're former Democrats, and these said the system's all screwed up. Systems rigged, systems corrupt. Things to get into the vote for a third party. They're in favor of a third party, but nah. The Democratic Party, maybe they're right. They're saying once you get into the system, even though outsider, into the Democratic Party, become part of the corrupt system, become corrupt like them. You have to support them, go along with them. You can't really lash out. Interesting. And maybe they're right. But let's see what they say about Marieanne.
This already, but we have not covered this development from the Marianne Williamson campaign. A former staffer, Jeremy Elwood, published a bombshell Facebook post this week, which he has since taken down. So let's read these. He posted to his Facebook page, Marianne Williamson, her campaign is not a campaign. It is a book tour. Here's how I know. I was the national field director. I was fired, along with anyone who mentioned ballot access or field plan. Her focus is only on events and social media. I was half joking a month ago that this is a book tour. I found out on the day that I was fired that she has a book coming out in September. When I brought up in a staff call that we still don't have ballot access in any state, she literally called ballot access, quote, mythical stuff. Sounds like her.
Sounds like her. I swear to God, I was just going to say that.
Fits. If the shoe fits. Myself, national field director, and my partner, field strategist, were let go after we toiled to make a solid national field plan and had to pivot to political director roles to fill gaps so we could finish the field plan. We weren't allowed to complete our roles because of, quote, mythical stuff. Marianne has fired those who know how to make a campaign win and has kept and promoted those who are only event and social media aware. Book tour. Again, she has no ballot access and doesn't care. Called ballot access mythical stuff. She fired everyone who has any semblance of field. She promoted New Hampshire state director to campaign manager. His name is Carlos. He knows nothing, in big capital letters, about national campaigns. By the way, I've only worked on nationals for the past 8 years, nor has he any experience in field, which is what it takes to reach the voters. Here he says it. Marianne is a grifter. Do not support her. She is here to sell her book coming out in September, and that is all she is here for. If she wanted to win, she would listen to the multitude of experts that were on her campaign before she fired them for ... giving advice and direction. I worked for her, and am all the more sad for it because I was duped. I thought I was more aware than that. Go ahead, Marieanne. Shoot me a cease and desist because I will do neither. Well, apparently he has done that. Your campaign has no hold because you're a grifting fraud. This Facebook post has since been deleted, so apparently he was probably a little more bark than bite when he said, I will do neither cease nor desist. But he did add to the original post these two comments. This is from Jen Dyes' she actually tweeted this out. P.S. Still waiting for the $400 expense payout and the $6,000 severance payout. Note, this is not me as a disgruntled employee. I was fired on June 30th. I would have made this a lot sooner if it were just me being disgruntled. This is me being sickened by seeing that she's taking advantage of supporters while I know it has nothing to do with the campaign. She's using the money to sell a book. End of story. Okay, so we did confirm on this guy's Facebook page that he was a former employee at Marieanne 2024. That's also, yes, that's also listed on his LinkedIn. So this does seem legit. We wouldn't just run with this if we didn't check it out at all. So not only does his bio check out on these various social media platforms, but also the story jives with our assumption about the Marieanne campaign and the way that these previous two campaign managers were let go, as well as Jason Call, who was, I guess, co-wrote the platform. He was higher up.
Two campaign managers let go. Well, wow.
He was let go. Then you had Peter Dow come out and kind of break the NDA, then say he's breaking the NDA without actually breaking the NDA. We heard from a source, we won't get into who said it, but we broke this a few shows back, I know you guys did too, who said, yeah, we're bound by NDAs, that's why we can't talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so...
And also all of these descriptions of her are consistent with stories going back 30 years. You go back, you read how she was written about in the LA Times back in 92. It sounds exactly like what he's describing. You have 30 years of people who have been around Marieanne describing her being extremely volatile to the point of it reflecting mental instability, which some people chalk it, oh, it's sexism.
Yep. Sexism or anti-Semitism. Hey. So the voter, the town hall, called him anti-Semite. Yeah. But hey, and I don't think just for asking it might be controversial, but it's not a controversial question. He was asking, just call him anti. And she got really triggered by that. She got really triggered by him asking that question to her. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is why she gets triggered easy. Like with anger issues. Why is she getting so triggered?
Really?
Hold on, she's so-called spiritual. So-called spiritual, new ager, spiritual. How does that work? That's supposed to like make you more spiritual. You calm and you're, you know what I mean? Hey man, be a better person. Like Christianity, but Christianity is more of it's real spirituality to me than this New Age thing. But that's another story. But she's a New Ager. New Age spirituality. And so-called makes you a better person, but it's worse than that. That's another topic.
Got the whole board of directors of her AIDS charity pick up and start another AIDS charity because they're all just sexist, right? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe one person, two people. For 30 years, every organization she's ever been involved in, that she's ever run, there is just this history of people departing with bad feelings, people claiming to be bound by NDAs, not able to talking about it anonymously, and the same descriptions of the same kind of behavior from her AIDS charity 30 years ago to her presidential campaigns today. They're all sexists, many of them being women.
Yeah, I don't buy it. But when I saw this, and then the last part you read, I did not. That's the first time I'm hearing it. I didn't see the extra comments. But what if he? What if he? Like he knows he's under an NDA, so he puts this out long enough for a bunch of people to screenshot it and know it's going to be out there. Then he just takes it down. That could have actually been his strategy. I don't know if taking it down does anything to make sure he's fulfilling the NDA. I don't know if doing that does anything, but I mean, unless she can say like, unless this was a plan from a long time ago, oh, it's a Democratic plan. You know how the People's Party says this is a Democratic plan who have been sitting there this whole time working to try to get you on ballot, and now he's coming out with bogus stories, or this like to what you're saying, Russell, this isn't in line with what a history that this person has. Even if we're taking away what happened in 1992, just think about the last 6 months. The last 6 months, how many different stories Political has ran, other outlets have ran about her and her staff. Just how many stories, and then you add this on, and then when Jason called, we remember when Jason called and Peter Dow left, how they didn't address why they left in the beginning. Like you can just easily say, like Peter Dow, if it was about his family, hey, I have a family situation, I got to step away from this. I'm just telling. I'll let you know later. It felt like he needed time to come up with a reason or to hear what people's like reaction to the news, and then he will formulate sort of a response in that case, because they didn't give the answer in the beginning. And this is what I say about Jason Call. Jason Call wrote in his tweet or what his thing saying that he was leaving. He maybe didn't mean to do it, but he said, "Yeah, I wrote all of that." And then he had to kind of retract. I don't remember if he retracted or maybe that was a reason he took something down. But he's the one who wrote all of that policy stuff. Now I don't know if he wrote it as I don't know if he wrote it like this is my idea and I'm doing it, or if he just copied and pasted. But if I had to bet, that's mostly from Jason Call's head and nothing to do with Marianne Williamson. And this is why when people would say, just go to her website, she believes this, and this, and I'm like, she didn't write any of that. So it's the same thing with Joe Biden. He didn't write any of that stuff pre-campaign, so it's no use in going and reading that as that's her freaking ideology, because it's not.
Well, I don't know what the deal is in terms of why this guy took the post down. Maybe he was threatened with legal action.
I think probably. Also, look, if man, I don't want to show it, although he does have it posted to public. This guy lives in Flint, apparently. And he had a very recent post where he was showing how, I guess a lot of them are still living with water filters. And he was showing how his water filter was already brown, I guess, like already had to be replaced. And normally it would take much longer, meaning the water's more poison than usual right now. And he put up a post like, what the fuck is going on? My filter is like, so maybe he was, pissed off. And he vented, especially, you're in that situation and these people owe you $6,400. So he went and he came out, and then they threatened him, and he got scared. They were like, yo, man, at least you got a house.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, look, we're not in the situation where we're being threatened with a lawsuit. That's obviously very scary. These people have a lot more money than a lot of these guys have. Certainly more money than any of us would have to fight off a lawsuit from Marianne Williamson. At the same time, isn't it tempting to root for one of these guys to just call their bluff? Because what is she going to do? She's going to sue this guy for speaking out. She's going to sue this working guy for speaking out. What would that do to her image? How many books would she sell if that were the case? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just exposes what a poser she is. And I do want to take this super chat here. We're going to go out of order because it relates to this segment.
I mean, with some of the people who come at you on Twitter when you criticize Marianne, she's a cult leader. You got these people who, it doesn't matter what evidence there is, they're going to support Marianne no matter.
Oh my God. Yeah. Doesn't it hurt that one's the largest progressive so-called network supports her too. TYT. That doesn't help either. And this makes you wonder why. I mean, he's supporting her. And Jenk's supposed to be a smart guy. But then again, he doesn't. He lost. He ran for office and he lost twice. So he's not good at he's not really good at like electoral politics in terms of candidates and you know what I mean. Though he founded Justice Democrats, AOC is good, and but he said they're not. Now he's upset with them, but he wasn't wrong with it. Wasn't wrong with them choosing AOC and Bowman. I mean, what's his name? Presley and Omar, and I'm forgetting one more. Ilman Omar and Presley and Bowman, but man, it's so they appear to be good candidates, but hey, they're in the Democratic Party, and you know what I mean. They're not strong enough, or is it the system that's rigged against them? And anyways,
No matter what. Is that enough to have a best-selling book? I don't know.
So DC says all Democrats have ballot access. In the general, that's true. Once they get the nomination, yeah.
Right. Not in the primary. You have to collect.
You have to collect signatures to get on the primary ballot. So if I announce I'm seeking the Democratic nomination, they don't print my name, Keaton Weiss, on the ballot. You have to get a certain amount of signatures from registered Democrats. In New York, it's something like 5,000 to 10,000. So it's not a terrible amount, but it's still quite a bit. I mean, you need an operation to do that.
Right.
She doesn't have one. Maybe she has close to one in New Hampshire, since that's what she's gunning for. But yeah, it takes a lot. That's why Bernie had the big rallies. Those big rallies were not just for TV. When you have a rally and 20,000 people, you get the signatures. You get people signed up. You get on the ballot.
she's going for New Hampshire. Putting all her so-called eggs in one basket there. And yeah, and she'll get big promotion for her book, I guess. That'll do. And then, but you know what I'm gonna let you guys know what I think what's gonna happen.
That way, you register volunteers so that they can go get signatures. It's a big process. You don't just get ballot access because you say you're running, right? And so what this guy's saying is that she doesn't have those signatures anywhere enough to be on the ballot,
and that she's not trying to get them.
She's not even trying to. And it sounds right. It sounds like right to me because she's
I'm not even trying to get them. Wow.
losing staff and she's not replacing it.
Right.
I think the last number.
It's totally a grift. And she's an absolute fraud. This is too bad. Huh. Yeah. And this whole we talked about this before. She's sharing another thing about I think she was at the wedding of Carl Kalinske and Crystal Ball. You know what I mean? And they're supporters of her. It's kind of a conflict of interest. And they're totally in for support of her. And this thing is just like all this is like a money-making thing. Big grift, even Carl Kalinske and Crystal Ball. All like a money-making grift, money-making thing. Like they're making money off of it to get more clicks. You know what I mean? And it's sad. Yeah, they are screwing over the people. Wasting their money. Stealing from the people. That's what Marianne Williamson is doing. They're just a grift. Taking people's money for a campaign. And you know, too bad.
The
I
staff
heard
to
was
get
12.
those signatures. That's
I
why
heard that
Bernie
she
had the
had
ground.
12 staff members?
Yeah, I heard she's down to
Total?
12 staff members. I read, yeah, total, which is a ridiculous. Unless all you're doing is online events, all you're doing is events of preparing people, just getting your name out there so when your book drops, people know, oh, I'm curious to do that. Now, but just think what kind of person would go through all of this planning months ahead, reach out to her people in independent media and say, hey, make sure you're putting me out there, doing all of this, hire field staff, hire all these people just to write a book, knowing that she has no intentions of like actually trying to do this job. This is why I feel like she like for as far as foreign policy and some other policy things that she seems not too like well versed on, that to me kind of speaks to that because she never was really trying to do this. She just kind of surface level sort of learning these topics so that she can speak semi-intelligently in a conversation and not to the point of depth, because none of the topics that she talks about she actually goes into depth about. She just talks about them very surface like, and then when she's questioned, oh, that's a good idea. Well, what's this is one of the answers she always gives. She's like, I can see it both ways. She uses that a lot. I see it both ways because she never can really talk too deeply about a particular substantive issue.
Well, she did that to you guys. I remember when Nick and Sabby would make points, she'd say, well, there were a lot of good points in that you just said.
Yeah, she did that all the time.
Right. Yeah, indeed.
And I must say now, with that interview, the way that interview ended, I feel so vindicated now for expressing that anger in that video because of what has happened with this segment right here where we're talking about her former field director. I feel it's like a weight lifted off of you that, you take all this incoming fire about this assessment about this person, and then when that assessment ends up being true. Now, let's say...
Well, yeah, because you came right in. You didn't waste no time.
Yeah,
you just came
I
right
didn't
in.
waste
As soon
any
as
time.
she hung up, you
went. Because, you know why? It was anger that I knew you were bullshitting us.
Right. That's exactly what you said. That was the first thing you said.
Yeah, like
she's
you're bullshitting people.
Oh, yep, bullshitting us. It's amazing. Wow. It's amazing. Oh. You know what I mean? It's amazing. Yeah, it is bullshit. It's all bullshit. Maybe one of my co-workers said it best. It's all bullshit. No politics. Yeah.
People and that it just that was the feeling I had, and I still have that feeling, this story just proves that point that she's been bullshitting us this entire time. Now, I must say I don't know if Kyle and Crystal in particular, and specifically Bree, knew about this level of her grifting. Maybe they knew she's probably gonna win and she's probably gonna have a good chance of winning, but I don't know if they knew like.
I don't think so. No, they know. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. But they think that she's gonna win.
This is all about writing the book.
And the wedding pictures. So maybe they do know. Don't forget the one with there's the thing with the wedding pictures. They were at the Carl and Crystal's wedding. Marieanne Wilmison was. And Brianna and Brianne. And so maybe Brianne didn't know, but I think maybe Carl and Crystal know. Maybe they were in on this grift too. Getting more clicks, you know what I mean? Supporting her. Seems like they're supporting her. Get more clicks. Their videos, make videos about her. I mean, they interviewed her, and you know what I mean? Getting more, it helps them. Promotes their shows. His show and what's her name? She has Breakpoint or whatever. That shows. She's on that. But the Secular Report. I think he's on that. That's his show. He has 2 other shows he has. And she's on Breakpoint or Breaking, whatever that one's called.
I don't know if they knew that extent. Now, I'm not putting it past Colin and Crystal, but I don't know if Bree. I'm just not getting the feeling that Bree knew that much about her grip to that extent. I
don't think that.
I don't think Bree know. No. I think Kyle and Crystal probably know.
Are in it like that, but what I've said all along about the fact that all of these PMC commentators, even the ones who are good on a lot of issues like Bree, like Katie, all of them clearly showed a bias towards Marieanne. And I think that's because of their class identification. They feel comfortable with her. I think they're impressed by the whole Hollywood, best-selling guru thing. It fits their status. It fits their class. RFK, that's too crazy for them, man. That's too out there. That's too radical. That's too dangerous. It's too edgy. Marieanne, they find relatable. They see her as one of them, even if they.
He's kind of weird too, though. Although he's okay in the anti-war. But strangely, she's not really that anti-war. And he's more anti-war than her. So she's he's more anti-war and she's a so-called progressive. But she's supposed to be more anti-war. I mean, not for more these wars. Interesting.
They don't want to admit that or think of it that way. Why'd you pick? You got these 2 people running. And look, man, you don't agree with RFK about the schmack scenes? Okay, fine. Do you agree with Marieanne about Ukraine and Israel? I know Katie doesn't. So why was that a deal breaker with RFK, who's polling a lot better? If what you want is to platform issues, he's doing a lot better than Marieanne is. So why did all of them?
There you go. He's right. Doing a lot better. And a lot better than her. And he supports some of the issues, some of those policies he supports, but not all of them though. Not all of them, but some of them.
All of them. Not one of them gravitated towards being biased towards RFK. Every single one of them, Marieanne resonated with that. I'm sorry, that says something about you.
To me, that makes it like we are post-duopoly, we're not supporting. But I'm saying, if you're progressive and you're saying I'm picking somebody, how are you not picking RFK specifically for that reason?
Well, that's the thing.
The professional managerial class is trying to make your, like, the threshold of being a great leftist is Medicare for all, and it's not. That is absurd. Like, Medicare for all, single-payer health care is not a left issue, in my opinion, because there's conservatives all over the world that...
Yep. Even in Canada we have, but now in Canada they kind of, they want to claw it back in Canada here, so... And in the UK they want to do that too, so that some of the conservatives... But you're right, even these other countries, the conservatives supported Medicare for all, or public health care, or single payer they call it. So
I think that everybody should have health care. There's conservatives in Europe who, this is not the left issue. This is a thing that most leftists agree with. But if you're saying that and especially when they're talking about messaging, don't you think it's important that there's a left messaging. Why isn't it important that there's messaging against Ukraine?
Right. Well,
As a
exactly.
professional managerial class member.
No,
Yeah.
that you're right. I mean, that is the litmus test right now, especially since that's
Yeah.
the issue that the president has direct authority over, right? Is Russia, Ukraine, right? It makes a real difference. Biden versus RFK on Ukraine. Biden versus RFK on Medicare for all. First of all, RFK isn't really for Medicare for all, but let's just say Biden versus Marieanne on Medicare for all. Marianne Williamson becomes president. How's she going to pass that through?
Right.
She's not
Revenue
functionally
system, yeah.
much different from Biden on that either. I mean, she
Mhm.
expresses a desire to pass it, but functionally she's not different because you're not going to get that through the Congress.
Biden's not that for. Biden's not for it either. I think you're wrong. He's not really for it. And Cenk Uygur said this, and Cenk was right. Biden's not really for it either. So even the public option, he's not for.
Congress now.
And you can't just pretend that they're gonna look at it or on the campaign they're gonna, I don't know, maybe they'd mention it, kind of, or they're gonna study it or look at it, or but he wasn't really for it. And it was about Medicare for all, but they were not gonna really. I guess he did it on the campaign. He mentioned it, but he said he was going to implement it. Like he's going to have a policy of doing that. I don't think so. He wasn't really for it. Maybe he said he might implement it, or he wasn't really. It wasn't really a priority. On the last campaign, I don't think so.
Functionally, she's not that different from Biden on Ukraine, and that's an issue where she could be particularly different if she wanted to be, but she's not, right? So yeah, I mean.
But this functionality is the point that I make.
Mm-hmm.
Is that RFK? Now, what I've heard RFK is that I believe in Medicare for theory, but that's not going to happen through any of these parties, which seems a lot more honest. But
so he does. Yeah, no, really. Yeah, I guess he does. He doesn't think he could pass. I guess in theory, I guess he's for it in a way. He is for it, I guess. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe he is for it. But you think it's not he's not promising it. And it would be really difficult to. I guess for now. So maybe in theory he's for it. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he is for it, but I think Biden said he'll campaign. He'll look at it. He said he was for it, but he's not really for it. He's not really gonna. He mentioned it. They're gonna expand it. That's what he did. I remember. And that never really happened. They're gonna expand. They wanna. Oh, there was a. I remember. There was a. They wanna expand it. And he was pushed by it, by Bernie on this. They wanna expand it to. Or lower the age. It wasn't Medicare for all. It was like Medicare, but lower the age for 55 years old for Medicare. 50 or 55. That was the plan. See, that was the plan. It wasn't Medicare for all in a sense. No single payer. Lowering the age was 65 to 50 or 55 or 50. So that was his only plan on that. Well, something simple as that they couldn't, but he didn't really want in the first place.
to the point of your functionality, what's the difference in, let's just say RFK says, no, I'm against Medicare for all. What is the functional difference? What's the tangible difference against somebody else who says, I'm all for Medicare for all, and then you say, how are you gonna get it? I'm gonna rub these two sticks together. Like what is the difference? To me, that's how I look at it. Like, what is the difference in that? Because if she's saying I'm all for Medicare for all, but I'm doing it through the Democratic Party, whose leader says I'm gonna veto it, like what does that tangibly do? That's why I think messaging is no longer can be the threshold that these professional managerial classes are trying to sell us on. We just need a candidate for messaging. Not if your messaging is not attacking a capital, is not attacking the military-industrial complex. We don't need messaging on Medicare for all. We don't need messaging on $15 minimum wage. We need messaging on nuclear war, messaging on the proxy war. That's what we need messaging on right now.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, messaging on Medicare for all, that's how Boskar Sankara sells magazines, right? I mean, that's what that means.
Right.
Right? And you're right. I mean, it's a very superficial difference to advocate for Medicare for all versus to be Joe Biden and say, I veto it. Either way, the bill's never getting to your desk. So whether you'd sign it or veto it matters a lot less than whether you would stop arms sales to Ukraine tomorrow or keep it going until nuclear war breaks out. Absolutely.
Right.
Now, in terms of like, did Kyle and Crystal know she was this bad? Probably not. They figured, hey, we'll convince her to run and we'll, juice our channels off of the campaign. Although I think that book that she's putting out in September, they're making a romantic.
Maybe they did know. Yeah. When they went to their wedding, so. I don't know. They're closer than you think. You know what I mean? They're close to each other than you think.
Romantic comedy movie out of it called My Best Friend's Third Wedding. That's gonna be that's the name of the book.
Third wedding, yeah.
It's gonna be a rom-com. Julia Roberts is gonna come back. So that is a little suspicious. That does make me.
See, they're talking about the wedding. That's what they references. Okay, they went to their wedding. And folks, that's it, folks. What do you think about this? Anyways, Marianne Williamson, he's a fraud. Too bad, but that's it, folks. It's too bad, progressives. If you want to vote for, if you want to vote for somebody, maybe you should vote for Cornel West, Green Party, or don't. I don't know. Don't vote at all. Yeah. Option. It's an option too. I don't know, but. Or you could always go for RFK Jr. Some say he's kind of crazy too, but I don't know. But he has some almost similar policies. You look at it, it's not really that. He likes some progressive policies. He's more of corporate type, kind of. You know what I mean? Interested. Go to his website. And he's very interested. And it's different for what he stands for. In a way, he seems more authentic in that. If you look at his son, and she's just this and that, all the basic like standard leftist thing. Talking points. Seems like she's doing the talking points. He's doing more than that. When you interview him, and she's doing like a talking points, kind of, in a way. It's going over talking in the leftist side and the website. Standard leftist. You know what I mean? The policies. He's kind of more nuanced. She's a nuance. You know what I mean? Nuanced policies. They might be kind of corporate, but there's some leftists, some more to the left, same policy that like the left, most of the left agree with, progressive agree with. So he's kind of more nuanced. So interested. Anyway, folks, that's it for this video. He said, yep, she's a fraud. Too bad. Oh.